Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. If you're watching this, I already know what's been on your mind. Before we get into everything, if you care about Rami and you want to stay updated on all things BABYMONSTER, hit that like button right now, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single update. And if you have thoughts about Rami's situation, whether you're hopeful, worried, or somewhere in between, drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. Now let's talk about the one member who has been missing from the stage for over a year, and the silence surrounding her that is getting louder by the day. 1 year. 365 days. And we still don't have a clear answer about where Rami is, what she's really going through, or when, and honestly, if she's coming back. But here's the thing, there are breadcrumbs. There are moments. And when you piece them all together, the picture is a lot more complicated, and a lot more emotional, than YG Entertainment wants you to think. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the full timeline of what's happened, what the members have said, what the fans have discovered, and what the signs might actually be pointing to. Let's start from the beginning, because to understand where Rami is now, you have to understand who she is and what she means to this group. Rami, whose real name is Shin Haram, was born on October 17, 2007, in Seoul, South Korea. She was actually the very first member of BABYMONSTER to be revealed to the public, back in January 2023, before the group even had a full lineup announced. That detail alone tells you everything. YG didn't open with just anyone. They opened with Rami. Standing at around 172 centimeters tall, with a vocal color that blends warmth in the lower registers with a striking, powerful brightness at the top, Rami was immediately recognized as the group's main vocal pillar. Her soul and R&B influenced tone is genuinely rare in the K-pop world, especially for someone her age, and her Western-leaning style gave BABYMONSTER a crossover appeal that very few fourth-generation groups have managed to achieve. During the Hello Monsters World Tour in early 2025, it was Rami who performed a stunning solo cover of Jasmine Sullivan's "Pick Up Your Feelings," a moment that reminded everyone just how far above her years this girl truly is. She wasn't just a member of BABYMONSTER. She was one of its defining voices. And that's what makes everything that happened next so painful to process. Health problems were not a new reality for Rami. As far back as April 2024, during the behind-the-scenes video for BABYMONSTER's Sheesh dance practice, it was revealed that Rami had been diagnosed with pneumothorax, a condition where air leaks into the space between the lung and the chest wall, causing the lung to partially or fully collapse. The diagnosis had come just days before the shoot. And yet, she pushed through. She recovered within a week and continued. That tells you everything about the kind of person she is. But her body was sending a warning, and the warning was not heeded long enough. On May 9, 2025, the news that Monsties had been quietly dreading finally came. YG Entertainment posted an official statement on Weverse announcing that Rami would be going on hiatus. The statement was careful in its wording. It acknowledged that Rami had been dealing with ongoing health issues since her debut, that she had continued to push through out of a deep desire to give back to the fans who loved her, but that her condition had not significantly improved despite treatment. Medical professionals had advised her to suspend all activities and take absolute rest. She would not be joining the BABYMONSTER Asia leg of the Hello Monsters World Tour. Just like that, one of the group's most essential voices went quiet. And here is where it gets really important, because the silence that followed was not just Rami going offline. It was a systematic absence. She was not included in BABYMONSTER's second mini-album, We Go Up, which was released on October 10, 2025. She was not part of the single, the promotions, the content, or the visuals. She missed major year-end award ceremonies. And then came the moment that made the fandom's collective stomach drop. At the 2025 Mama Awards in November, BABYMONSTER won a Fans' Choice Award and their hit song, Drip, was played during the acceptance. But when fans listened carefully, they realized Rami's voice had been removed from the track entirely. She wasn't just absent from the stage, she had been erased from the song itself. The acceptance speech didn't mention her name. Not once. You can imagine how that landed for fans who had spent months holding on to hope. But then came a small, fragile light. In October 2025, during a fan meeting, member Farida told a fan who asked about Rami that she was still unwell, but getting better. It wasn't much. It was barely a crumb. But for a fandom that had gone months without a single word, it meant everything. Then in December 2025, fans noticed something in the final scene of the Super Duper Love music video, a detail that many interpreted as a subtle hint toward Rami's eventual return. The theories spread like wildfire. The excitement was real. People started counting down. And then February 2026 happened. YG Entertainment released new promotional content for the group, and it featured only 6 members. No explanation. No update. No mention of Rami. Just silence. That silence ignited a wave of speculation that Rami had quietly been removed from the group entirely, that YG was preparing a permanent 6-member lineup, that the hint in the Super Duper Love MV meant nothing. Fans were furious. The hashtag demanding answers from YG trended on multiple platforms. Some fans pointed out that YG's social media content, when it did acknowledge all 7 members, would sometimes include Rami only in a corner of a frame using older clips, while the main body of the content was entirely OT6. Others noted that Rami still appeared listed as a member on official platforms, still credited under YG, still referred to in the group's official 7-member lineup. And then something happened that no one expected. Rami was spotted by fans in Kentucky, in the United States. And when she signed autographs, she signed them as BABYMONSTER Rami. Not Shin Haram. Not just Rami. BABYMONSTER Rami. For a member whose future in the group had been the subject of relentless speculation, that small act of self-identification was enormous. It was read by many fans as a deliberate, quiet statement. She still considers herself part of this group. She has not left. She is still Rami of BABYMONSTER. Then, on May 15, 2026, during video call fan events for BABYMONSTER's most recent comeback, Chum, a fan connected with Farida and brought up Rami, saying they missed her and weren't sure if Farida was able to speak about it. Farida's response was brief but deeply felt. She said the group missed Rami too, but that she didn't think she could say anything. Sorry, she added. That response shook the fandom. Not because it was unkind, it wasn't, it was genuinely tender, but because the fact that Farida could not speak freely about a fellow member raised serious questions about what YG Entertainment has communicated to the group and why the members are being kept silent. Some fans directed their frustration squarely at YG for putting the members in a position where they cannot even talk openly about someone they clearly care about. Others urged the fandom not to bring Rami up during individual fan calls, arguing it puts the members in an unfair and emotionally difficult spot. Meanwhile, BABYMONSTER has pressed forward. Their third EP, Chum, dropped on May 4, 2026. The Chum World Tour is set to kick off on June 26, 2026, at Jamsil Indoor Stadium in Seoul, with stops across Japan and then expanding to North America, Europe, Oceania, and South America through 2027. It is going to be massive. And the question hanging over every single tour announcement, every setlist rumor, every ticket purchase, is whether Rami will be on that stage. As of today, YG Entertainment has said nothing. There is no update. There is no timeline. There is no statement. A world tour is about to begin, and the main vocal of the group has been absent for over a year with zero confirmed return date. That level of institutional silence in the face of a fandom that is clearly in distress is something fans have every right to be frustrated about. The comparison to a Hiatus, who also missed the group's debut before returning in early 2024, is constantly being made, but Hyun's absence lasted a few months and was followed by a warm, public announcement of her return from YG's own founder. Rami's absence has now stretched to more than a year, with no equivalent gesture of reassurance from the company. So where does that leave us? Rami is still listed as a member of BABYMONSTER. She is still in the United States, it appears, and she identified herself as BABYMONSTER Rami when given the chance. Her fellow members miss her. The fandom misses her. And the void her voice leaves in every song, every performance, every 7-member frame, it is unmistakable. You can hear it. You can feel it. BABYMONSTER without Rami is a group that is still excellent, still powerful, still going places, but it is a group that is undeniably incomplete. What we know for certain is this: her health issues have been real, documented, and ongoing since long before the official hiatus announcement. She has not abandoned this group. And whether the road back is short or long, complicated or straightforward, the evidence suggests that Rami herself has not given up on being a part of BABYMONSTER. The question is whether YG Entertainment will give her, and the fans who love her, the respect of an honest, open update. Until that day comes, Monsties, we wait. And we hold on to that autograph signed in Kentucky that said, simply but powerfully, BABYMONSTER Rami. If this video gave you the update you were looking for, or even if it just made you feel seen as a fan who's been carrying this worry, please give it a like, it genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Share it with a fellow Monsties who's been asking the same questions. Leave a comment telling me what you think is going to happen. Do you believe Rami will be on stage for the Chum World Tour? Do you think YG owes the fandom a proper statement? I want to hear everything. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because this story is far from over, and you don't want to miss the moment we finally get the update we've all been waiting for. Take care of yourselves, Monsties, and take care of each other. Annyeong.